Hi boys and girls, guess where I'm at? I'm under a tree. You know why? Because today I'm going to read you a story about a tree. This story is called Fletcher and the Falling Leaves. Now if I look around me right now, I don't really see any leaves that fell down yet because in Florida it's not cold enough. But that doesn't mean it's not still fall. It's just Florida fall. And the leaves will eventually fall off this tree. All right, remember this story is called Fletcher and the Falling Leaves. I forgot to say something. Look at this. Who is that? A fox. What is the fox doing? He's catching the leaves. The world was changing. Each morning when Fletcher bounded out of the den, everything seemed just a little bit different. The rich green of the forest was turning to a dusty gold, and the soft swishing sound of summer was fading to a crinkly whisper. Fletcher's favorite tree looked dull, brown, and dry. Fletcher was getting worried. Oh, look, there he is. He looks like he's thinking. He's thinking about his tree. It's not very green anymore. You're right, Fletcher. I think my tree is sick, said Fletcher. What is wrong with it? His mother asked. Its leaves are turning brown, said Fletcher. Don't worry, it's only autumn, she said. Fletcher ran back to his tree and patted the rough bark. Don't worry, it's only autumn, he said. You'll be feeling better real soon. Fletcher and his mommy. Oh, there's Fletcher talking to the tree, giving it some pats and love. Autumn. Autumn, that's a big word, huh? But the tree didn't get better. Each day, more leaves turned brown. One morning, the wind blew a small brown leaf off of a branch. Fletcher jumped up and caught it very gently in his paws. The leaves changed, and now they're starting to fall. Oh, don't worry, tree. I've got your leaf. I'll fix you. Fletcher looked around, picked up a piece of grass, and carefully tied the leaf to a branch. Oh, look at Fletcher. Just then, another gust of wind ruffled Fletcher's fur. The little leaf shook itself free and fluttered back to the ground. Fletcher picked it up again and thought very hard when he poked the leaf. Then he poked the leaf onto a twig and pushed it down firmly. Now you hold on tight, said Fletcher. No more flying around. The little leaf gave a tiny rustle in reply. Do you think that leaf's going to stay there? The next day, a strong wind was blowing through the forest. Fletcher rushed out of the den and ran all the way to his tree. Lots of branches were bare. That means that there wasn't any there. Bare means nothing. The little lost leaves spun everywhere. Don't worry, tree. I'll catch them all for you. I promise. Round and round whirled Fletcher after the whirling leaves. You could see the wind was blowing really hard. Ooh, the wind's blowing right here. You can see my hair moving. But it's not blowing that hard. The leaves are still staying on at my house. Look at the leaves over here. Look at Fletcher trying to catch them. Do you think he's going to be able to catch them all? Leaves. Wonderful. Just what I need for my nest, said a squirrel. But these belong to the tree, said Fletcher. Don't take them away. The tree doesn't need them anymore, said the squirrel, bounding off. Help, help! The wind and the squirrel are stealing our leaves, cried Fletcher. What did the squirrel say? He said the tree doesn't need them anymore. Let's think about that. Leaves, terrific leaves. Just what I need to keep me warm, said a porcupine rolling around. Look at that porcupine rolling in the leaves. But these leaves belong to the tree, said Fletcher, plucking leaves off the porcupine's needles. Not anymore, snuffed the porcupine, and away he rolled. Help! Help! The wind, the squirrel, and the porcupine are stealing our leaves, cried Fletcher. Suddenly, a flock of friendly birds swooped down from the sky. They picked up the leaves in their beaks and poked them into the tree branches. Soon, the tree was leafy again, and Fletcher flopped down and smiled. "Thank you, birds, thank you," he gasped at the birds. He gasped as the birds fluttered away. He lay looking up through the leaves at the sky and drifted off to sleep. Oh, the birds picked up some leaves and put them on the tree. How did it make Fletcher feel? Made him feel better, huh? He was getting all anxious and worried about his tree losing all its leaves. But the wind continued to blow, and the branches still danced. The leaves shivered and shook themselves and began to wiggle free. They tossed and turned and twitched and twirled and tumbled to the ground. They brushed Fletcher's ears and nose and filled his dreams with a whispering sound. Fletcher, she's sleeping good, isn't he? I wonder what the tree's going to look like when he wakes up. When Fletcher finally woke up, he couldn't believe his eyes. Instead of a roof of dancing leaves, all he could see were bare branches against the sky. "Oh, tree, I'm so sorry," gulped Fletcher. "All your leaves are gone." But then he saw high in the branches one small leaf holding on tight. Look at the one leaf. "I won't." Hey, boys and girls, guess what? Miss Singleton was on the playground under that tree, and then guess what? The big kids got to come out and play on the playground, so I had to come inside. So we're going to finish this story inside our classroom. Remember, Fletcher had just woken up from his dream, and he saw that his tree had no leaves on it, but just one little leaf left. "I won't let the wind steal that one," said Fletcher, and he began to climb. He crawled along to the last leaf and held it firmly onto its branch. All day long the wind blew and the branch bounced, and Fletcher held tight. "I'll stay with you, leaf," he said. "Don't worry." He's holding on tight, isn't he? But then, with a sudden whoosh of the wind, the branch bounced high. With a blip, the leaf let go and fluttered like a little flag, clutched in Fletcher's paw. Oh no, the leaf popped off. Fletcher looked sadly at the leaf, and he promised to save. He carried it carefully down the tree and back to the den. Oh, look at Fletcher's face. He's super sad. He made a cozy little bed for it and gently tucked it in, but all night long he could only think of his tree, all alone. Look at the little leaf. There's Fletcher. At dawn, that means the morning, Fletcher tiptoed outside. The wind had finally stopped blowing, and the air was gold. The moon still hung in the clear sky, and pale stars glimmered. As he came to his favorite tree, Fletcher saw a magical sight. Wow, this is so cool. The tree was, oh, you want to see? The tree was hung with 1,000 icicles, shimmering. Can you see it shimmering? It's a magical book. Shh, it's got sparkles on it. Shimmering silver in the early light. "You are more beautiful than ever," whispered Fletcher. "But are you all right?" A tiny breeze shivered the branches, making a sound like laughter. And in the light of the rising sun, the sparkling branches nodded. Fletcher gave his tree a hug. Then he went back to the den for a nice, warm breakfast. Look at Fletcher with his tree. Do you see how shiny that tree is? It's got the icicles in it. because it's no longer fall in this story. It's starting to be winter. All right, friends, I'm so glad that you were with me to read that story, and I'm so glad that we got to read most of it underneath that beautiful tree. I hope that you get to experience fall somewhere.